raise her hand more. Too shy. Teacher after teacher repeated, and time after time, my mom looked over at me with the, "Molly, why can't you just get over it?" look. I was sick of it, all through elementary school, from not knowing a word of English to being completely fluent, from having no friends to knowing almost everybody. I just couldn't shake shyness off my back. Young Molly didn't consider it exactly an issue, only during the parent-teacher conference moments, of course, until later. I had always had ideas, good ones, I thought at least, but they were stuck up here. So I'm here today to share with you how I overcame that barrier, and perhaps inspire you to break down your own invisible wall. Let's start with the idea of confidence. What is it? Put in most simple terms, confidence is belief. In what, you may ask? Well, for the time that you share with me today, embrace the idea that confidence stems from within, that it blossoms from the core. So whether you aspire to achieve a physical task or gain the respect of others, you must start by looking in. Let me take you through 3 questions and how each thought leads into the next step to taking action. Number 1, who am I? Cliche, I know, but here's to taking your thoughts in a direction you may not want to go. You are probably imagining some future perfect version of yourself. I welcome you to embrace the person as you are, here right now, sitting in your chair. Think about all of your human characteristics, the good and the so-called bad. Acknowledge what you love most about yourself, and that will allow you to identify what you genuinely want to improve. Only when those thoughts are voiced aloud, if only to yourself, can you start to make the changes. I was shy, but I didn't do anything about it. I didn't care until I acknowledged the fact that to me, being shy was not okay. I wanted my ideas heard. I wanted those opportunities that I wouldn't have if I didn't ask for them. For that to happen, I need to stop being shy. But there's no on and off switch, so I had to ask myself a second question. Number 2, how do I want to be seen? I invite you to join me in a thought experiment. Imagine you are in a room with hundreds of people milling around. Suddenly a set of grand doors open, and as every pair of eyes in the room turns towards that door, someone walks in. A bit of a Cinderella moment. How does that person present themselves? Do they walk hunched over? Do they stomp into the room? Or do they simply take every step naturally with confidence? Whoever it is, however they walk, pretend you are them. Literally, alone in your bedroom, take on their qualities. How do they present themselves? How do they draw attention? And how do they pull energy from the attention that is given? For me, I had a sort of character in mind, almost like Superwoman, a person who could do anything and talk to anybody. I pretended to be her when I had no eyes looking. And eventually, with practice, I suppose, I am almost able to draw confident energy from this non-existent being. Number 3, the question I think most important and most critical in my own journey to finding self-confidence. What am I already good at? What is something I am already confident in? Large or small, from being able to retell your favorite novel to a friend, to playing a sport for fun with your family. Start in something you already know you can do, and expand on that. Let me explain. I was a pianist, put into piano lessons like almost every other kid I knew. I was not Mozart, I had some skill-based fingers, so I was confident playing for most audiences. Why? Only because I could hide my face. The fact that I didn't need to see my audience, whether it's because I could hide behind my hair, which I made sure I couldn't do today, or playing with my back to my audience, just the fact that I didn't have to see anyone bolstered me, until everything changed. Now, I did not choose to make this change. I never wanted to look at anybody, but my parents put me into public speaking lessons, until they realized it had no effect whatsoever. Even during a public speaking class online, I took every opportunity to do exactly the opposite. That's when they came up with a brilliant idea. If we can't get Molly to say the words, not piano. But when I realized my parents wanted me to give up so easily this time, I found something to hide behind again. Except this time, it was my ability to understand and make music from piano. Now, I had nothing physical, but I mentally focused on the technical part of singing. And eventually, that musical ability that I hid behind turned into a foundation that I can stand proudly on. Talk about condensing many years of hard-earned progress into one sentence. The transformation was not immediate. Let me amuse you with the story of my first ever singing recital. It was at least 6 months into my first singing lesson, so I had been singing for a little while. But to this day, I don't know why my teacher chose one of the wordiest songs on the planet. My favorite things from The Sound of Music. As if singing in front of an audience for the first time was not enough, I also had 6 verses that sounded musically alike, all with different words to memorize. Alas, my worst fear came true. Somewhere in the second verse, I tripped over one word, and then the rest of the song was done for. What was worse, my singing teacher was at the back of the church trying to mouth me the words. So there I was on stage, failing to get any words right, desperately trying not to look at my mom, and also trying to decipher my teacher's. But I survived. Again, and again. And eventually, I relied less on hiding, and more on bringing my eyes down to my audience, and even staring into the souls of some adjudicators. So now I've made it full circle, back to public speaking, where my parents wanted me to start. Not only doing so, but talking about the very thing that was, and perhaps still is, my Achilles heel. So start at something you're already confident in, and then expand and propel yourself into a new world. And you may just end up with more than you could have ever imagined. Let me provide you with one other example. After many years of skiing with my family, I became highly intrigued by the sport of ski cross. For those who don't know what it is, which I'm sure is the case with many, ski cross consists of racing down a track with 3 other people. There are bumps, which we call rollers, bank turns, which are icy and may just fling you into a net with another human being into the forest beyond, and jumps, off of which you may land on one foot, or upside down, or on top of another person. All this done at a speed of over 50 kilometers an hour, even at my level. So it's a roller coaster without a seatbelt. Dangerous? I would have to agree. But fun, so can you blame me? In any case, ski cross taught me so much more than just all of the ski techniques. It taught me how to believe, which, as we said, was at the core of confidence. In ski cross, I learned to trust that my legs would hold me up, that my ski edges would hold onto those icy turns. I also trusted that if I rolled all the way down the mountain, I would still be able to get up with my bones intact. That last one's unsupported, by the way. But that's exactly what I learned, is that simple belief, logical or not, helped me achieve great things. Over time, that confidence in my physical abilities on the snow translated into other areas of my life, such as believing that I wouldn't be laughed off the stage during a TEDx talk, for example. I hope I'm right about that one anyway. So begin your journey to finding self-confidence by asking hard questions. Acknowledge what you want to improve. And then from an area in which you are already confident, propel yourself into a new world. From that little girl who never wanted to talk to anybody, to the 7th grader who refused to take public speaking lessons properly, here I am finally sharing my ideas with the world. Conquer the previously imaginable by trusting. The trust in yourself that is the almighty confidence. Allow me to finish this talk with the verse that I never got to. And it even has a message that correlates with what I said about grounding yourself in something in which you're already confident.